Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in our old friend Al Drake of Evile. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm well. It's so good to see you on the almost eve of the album dropping. Hell Unleashed, the new album coming out on Napalm Records. Congratulations on this whole new era of the band in a way. And obviously, I know I sound like a broken record to some of our listeners, but it's not going to stop. We have had a terrible time in the world. It's important to me to keep that human element. I know it's supposed to be all mean and nihilistic and stuff, but I can't stop thinking about people and the world. So unfortunately, I'm not a hippie, but I care. I do care. Empathy is one of my curses and powers. So I really hope you're good. The band is good. Your families, your friends, your crew, everyone is as well as can be considering the latest period of time in the world.
Yeah, we're doing okay. We're trying to get through this all and just crossing our fingers that we can get back and play live again soon.
Right. It's been, I mean, this must be one of the longest periods of time you've been off the road in your whole career.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, when I left in 2013, I did not intend to ever do it again. So the fact that I came back in 2018 and then started writing the album, and it's 2021 now, and yeah, it's a long time. It's a very long time.
Right. And when fans don't, and believe me, there are people with bigger problems in the world. We've lost a lot of people, but in terms of our industry, it's been like a real tough time. And again, it extends beyond bands and record labels and being able to, as I like to say, hand to hand combat to sell an album to somebody over a merch table or give a high five, a drink a brew. But it's more than
Yeah.
just that. I had to get adjusted to doing these interviews over technology. I used to do them in person. No less awkward. Just to bag myself, but obviously, it's been a challenge for venues and tour people. I was saying in an earlier interview today that there's a lifestyle of people who are never home or they don't have a home and they just go from tour to tour to tour. And I wondered kind of, as I get up there in age, physiologically and mentally, how does you just change your life radically a year ago and suddenly you're home, you're a homebody, you're not on the road all the time. Yeah, it's great to sleep in a bed and see your family, awesome, but if this is the lonely life, I can't imagine how rough it would be.
Yeah, it's been the timing has been really weird because when I rejoined, we had the full intention of getting music written, getting back on tour, working it around our jobs because we're older now, we've got bills to pay, and but the fact that everything landed when we had a few complications with Matt and why he eventually left, and then the COVID thing started, and the timing just couldn't have been worse. It was just I was getting so amped up to get out there and play again, and then it just fell flat on its face.
Kind of a Murphy's
Very
Law.
weird.
Kind of a Murphy's Law. But you have made the best of it. This album is killer. And I really appreciate you have a lot of positivity that you put out into the world with your live streaming and just bringing a lot of happiness to people. I hope you're personally getting gratified by the fact that people really appreciate all the positivity you have put into the world, almost like a punk rock PMA kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm it's really fulfilling doing like Twitch streaming and even releasing this album. The only strange thing is if we're releasing it kind of into the void because we can't go out on tour with people and meet people yet. So until we do that, other than messages on message boards, no, they don't exist anymore, do they? But
Somewhere, I guess Reddit
oh
and
yeah, I
Discus.
guess yeah. We don't know until we get out there, and that's just what we're waiting for. And releasing an album at this time is just I can't even think of a word for it. It's just bizarre.
Right. Well, it's good. I got to say, I give a lot of respect to Napalm and your other PR operatives who are doing a fantastic shout out to my man, John Freeman at Freeman Promotions. They're doing a bang up job, doing the best you can under these circumstances. Again, totally weird and alien to any band that has made their bones the last 20 years, let's say in the streaming era. Streaming is a great tool to help get brand awareness for your band, but it doesn't sell a lot of, doesn't make you a lot of money. So I like seeing the other, Napalm is a fantastic label. We hold them
Oh yeah.
in a lot of esteem, and they have gone out all out as much as a label can to help support this release, which I just, as a journo, I see that on the outside looking in. How's it been for you?
It's been fantastic. I can't say enough good things about Napalm. I mean, for one thing, we were speaking to labels when we were like shopping the album, and we were speaking to quite a few. And then my brother Matt left the band, and to be fully honest, all of the labels instantly weren't interested. Napalm were the only label that stuck around and said, "We like the material. We like what you're doing. Let's go for it." So I've got respect for Napalm for taking that chance that no other label would take, and they're just great. There's emails flying back and forth, plans and schedules. Everyone's just on the ball, and it's we couldn't be happier. It's great.
Right. I've always said that Napalm is kind of like, a sort of a big little label, right? Like that's how
Yeah.
they feel, like a family, but they operate as competently and excellent, just across the board, first class. Just out of curiosity, was the demo material with you on vocals? Had you already sort of assumed the role of frontman in that case?
Well, it's a bizarre story. So Matt's health wasn't too good, and he's busy. He's got 3 kids, and we waited for about a year for the lyrics and vocals, but it never came. And we knew he was going to leave. I think he's happier now. But anyway, I eventually had to start writing the lyrics and the vocals myself to then show to the band that like this is what the song is. So this is what the vocals are. But then after the fact, Matt left the band. So my demo vocals that were just a guide kind of turned in to the vocals. So it was kind of a twofold thing. So we were listening to them as a guide, and then when Matt left, it was like we were listening to them as what it is, which is it's a weird thing for us to. It was a weird thing for us to think about, but yeah, it worked out in the end.
Nice. And for anybody who has never sung in a band, and I have a background in vocals, let me tell you, and here, shouting some hey, hey, heys in the background and screaming on the chorus is a lot different than carrying the brunt of being a frontman and singing all the time and rhythm and lead.
Yeah. I didn't realize I knew it was a big task, but I didn't realize how big a task it was, because even doing the demo vocals, I could taste blood in my throat, and for days it would hurt. And I just thought, I really have to get good at this, to be able to do it. And Chris Clancy, the producer of the album, really helped me in the studio. He saved the album really, because my vocals sucked. Like the first week of recording, it was just bad. And Chris worked with me. We tried loads of different things. And then one day we were tracking and it just all clicked. And I did something. And Chris said, right, do that again. So we tracked it again. And he said, right, you found it. That's how you do it. And I was like, thank fuck. I found it,
Yeah, you found your groove.
Yeah, I found exactly how I need to do it. But the only problem is, I can't keep it up. So I'll rephrase that.
Oopsie.
Yeah. So I'm speaking to Melissa Cross at the moment. She's really helping me out. And I couldn't ask for a better tutor. And I'm still on the journey of learning. Basically, it's not easy, as you'll know yourself. It's not simple.
Melissa is wonderful, and all kinds of goodness and greatness in the world. And if you could not have a better teacher in this game. And it is going to be a challenge when you perform live. Again, you are a guitar player's guitarist. You are a shredder. Everybody knows you for your many years of being that guy. And now you have to sing and play lead. And there are a few who do it well. I think of Millie Petrosha and I think of Dave Mustaine, the greats of the genre. But it's not that common that somebody sings lead and is also kind of the lead guitarist in a lot of cases.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest about it. When we play, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not going to be great at first because, Matt did it since 1999. I've done it since now. So, I'm just going to be honest with people. You know, if I mess up, I'm going to look. This is the first time doing this properly, so bear with me.
Right on. And hey, listen, just like without losing this for a second, it's not just oh, the guy left, it's family. So I know you wanted to be sensitive. You didn't say anything about it, there's nothing in the press notes about it, but obviously it was handled well, it was handled with care, and best of luck and all that. Nobody's angry, it's family, and you have to be you know careful with that, because fans are knuckleheads, and the internet and social media is terrible. We love the fans, but like they can be it's successful. Go on Twitter for like half an hour, and then
Yeah,
you want to eat a bullet. I think like you guys handle it very well. And on the plus side, what if this is your first thing as a vocalist, I can't wait to hear the next thing, because I really love the vocals on this record. I think you did a really good job. You didn't really channel anyone. You did what the songs needed, and it's heavy, man. It's really strong. Like if you were struggling or you had trouble, you can't tell as a listener. I know our review was, very thoughtful about your approach to things, and I dig it, man. These songs are great. Your vocals are strong. So I'm sure you'll just build on this in the future, especially once you are actually able to tour.
yeah. Thank you, dude. I will be building on my vocals. You know, I'm still learning. I want to adapt a few more things. I don't even know melody wise what will happen because um, I've done 5 interviews tonight, and I'm trying to remember if I've already said this, but um, we tried some melodic stuff in the studio. We tried a bit more of a Slayer thing, and nothing worked. You know, this material didn't call for that, and it just sounded a bit stupid, if I'm honest. And as soon as we did the vocal approach that you hear on the album, me and Chris just said it's got to be that. It can't be any other. It can't be any other style because it doesn't work. This is the only thing that works for these songs.
Fair enough. If I can throw you a compliment, just friend to friend, I got a vibe that reminded me a lot of the early stuff from The Haunted, which is a band I know you
Oh,
like. And I like it's like a little bit of hardcore with the thrashy thrash, riffs and tempos and stuff. And it works. I
that,
love me some Pete Dolving and Marco, and that era of the band, those first few albums, Haunted Baby Do It, and the self-titled. So good stuff,
that's
man.
that's very cool. Thank you. But that is completely unintentional because they aren't. I wouldn't say they're a big influence on me. I think they're cool, but you know, my influences are Sepultura, Slayer, Testament, all that.
Mm.
But yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. And you can hear a lot of that. Obviously it's really refreshing to hear this album. Like I said, Hell Unleashed is brutal. There's some great tracks on here. And, I just obviously you said you wrote it over a while and then the pandemic happened. So you had to record this in this uncertain time. But it seems like the songs are very well, very thoughtful, very well composed, and just right fist to the face, straight up break, headbangers, man.
Thank you, dude. Yeah, we spent well in in a way mentally we released the album a year or so ago because it was finished, and then COVID happened, so we didn't release it. So it gave us the opportunity to listen back. You know, sometimes you release an album and then a year later you listen to it and think, shit, I should have done that instead, you know. So this afforded us the opportunity to listen to it as if it's been released and then rewrite the material in the parts that we weren't sure about. So the pandemic kind of helped the album in a way.
Right on, right on. In the meantime, while you were, sort of woodshedding and writing, was there any source of, you go back to your favorites, your stuff you listen to every day? Did you pull out something from the vault? Like, oh, if I like to do something I've never done before on a record, let me listen to this old school album and mess around and try to do that. Do you do that? Or you just kind of go in and just write off the top of your head, whatever comes to you?
I'd say I started out listening to stuff, a lot of the time I will listen to Annihilator, Sepultura, and all that. But when I really get into writing an album, I write in a strange way that all I listen to is what I'm currently writing. So I'll be in my car driving to work and I'll be listening to the one song I'm currently writing, but I'll have it on repeat over and over. I'll listen to it like 100 times. And it sounds stupid, but the thing I most listened to write Hell Unleashed was Hell Unleashed because it's all I could think about. You know, if I listen to And Justice for All while I'm writing Hell Unleashed, something will get in there and it will change what I'm doing. So I try not to listen to anything else, really.
Nice. I respect that, and that's very important to not taint your own work. Especially you have such a unique voice as a player and a writer. Of course, you want to maintain that autonomy, and fans are clearly hyped for this. As soon as the first track dropped, people were, "Whoa, what the hell? This is welcome back. This is great." And I think it was expected there'd be a new album. You came back in, and we expected there'd be a new record, but it was quiet, and then. Again, Napalm, hats off. I'll doff my baseball cap imaginarily for them because they did a great job of just kind of rolling it out well. And then again, this record, man, it's a lot of bangers. I gotta ask you about a couple of tracks. I love The Thing, 1982, and Zombie
Yes.
Apocalypse, kind of back to back. It's like, I know this guy loves horror movies, and I feel like this is like a lot of this is an homage to great horror movies like those.
Yeah, horror is my favorite genre, and The Thing is my favorite film of all time, like number one. So Evile always try and do a few songs that are film songs now and then. We've done First Blood, Jaws, Gladiator, other ones I can't remember. But when it came to doing the lyrics on this album, I thought, why have I not done my favorite film of all time as a song? So it just had to be done. And then Zombie Apocalypse is just, it was going to be a B-side, the Mortician cover, but labels usually ask for a B-side. So we said, let's do that. We'll have it in the vault to give to them. And then I spoke to the label, like, do you want a B-side? And they said, no, it's fine. So we thought, well, okay, we'll put it on the album.
By the way, before I move on, Carpenter is just God as far as I'm concerned. I love his. We are major John Carpenter fans here at Ghost Cult. We'll sit around and listen to his soundtracks. He made a metal, Ghost of Mars has a metal soundtrack. He helped co-compose. He's wonderful, and I hope he keeps doing this thing forever. I think there's some John Carpenter vinyls out now that were never available before. So hail!
I actually think isn't he remaking The Thing?
I think he's remaking The Thing. He's at least going to executive produce it and write it. I imagine he's still directing stuff, so I imagine he's going to direct it. He's not that old that he can't get out there and helm a film. Scorsese's making a film right now. He's like 85, so like anything is possible. Wow.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to lose. I appreciate that Carpenter worship, and I love The Thing also. It's such a great, still like almost 30 years old next year. It's insane how much it holds up still.
Yeah, it's the best.
Right on. So some other tracks that I obviously Gore, Incarcerated, Disorder. These are amazing songs to me. Just super. It's modern. You got the old school kind of nods, but it's still a very modern sounding record. And the production is the thing I wanted to kind of get into with you. And Chris is probably, a good point for this too, is it's a very crisp, modern production that I like, because what happens is, you have a lot of younger bands, and no disrespect, because I love a lot of them. They end up trying to really copy that mid 80s, Pyramid Studios in Ithaca, old Metallica sound or Testament sound, and it ends up a little thin because they don't scoop anything anymore. And what I like is a more modern production, like this Evile record, the recent Lamb of God. I want the new Gojira. I want to hear riffs full.
Yeah.
I want to hear all the modulations and the tones in rhythm playing, not just this razor blade thing, which I love historically. I love, but I want a more crisp current sound.
Yeah, we talked when we got into the studio. I think Andy Sneap was actually talking as well, and I said I don't want a thrash sound in the traditional sense, but I want it to sound as modern as possible without sounding overly produced, and we came up with the compromise of a goal of, imagine if Rain in Blood was recorded this year, and that we were trying going for that approach where the raw sound of the guitars, the drums, just pretty much raw. A lot of it is, there's not much processing on the drums either. It's pretty much what you hear, what he played, and we just got Chris to do his magic on the production side of things, and make it, you can hear everything. That's what I wanted. Bass suffers a lot in metal, and I said, look, I want to be able to hear the bass, all the guitars, all the drums, all the cymbals, and the vocals up front. And he just did it, and it was great.
I
No
feel
complaints.
nice. I feel like we're all kind of we have a bass players have a collective PTSD and fans from Injustice for All. I hate to beat that dead horse, but there are other. But you're not wrong. There are other albums where the bass just doesn't get enough play. Some of my
Yeah,
favorite thrash albums of all time have incredible bassists, and you mentioned Testament earlier, and Sepultura occasionally has some excellent bass stuff. So yeah, man, it's weird that I think the prominence on guitars sometimes kind of overshadows the little stepbrother of bass, which is unfair.
yeah. This it's just there's only so much room in two speakers for how big guitars sound and the frequencies of the bass, because the guitar takes up so much of those frequencies. If you listen to pop music with clean guitars, there's so much room for bass. It's ridiculous. And as soon as it's metal, bass is just gone.
Right. And then now I wonder if you notice now, in the mixing and definitely having to pay attention to your own voice as a singer and a vocalist, because guitar often competes with, I find that guitar and cymbals compete with vocals in the mix. So, I'm sure you were very hands-on as much as you could be with the mixes, or at least certainly your input was there. It needs to be as you are, your band now. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I was there through everything. Like most albums we've done, I've been there co-producing. So I'm always at the desk. I'm always making sure everything is happening in the way it should. In terms of the mix, I've tried mixing my whole musical life, but I can't do it. I only have the ear for it. I don't have the ability. So Chris was kind of like my translator. So I'd be like, Chris, I need this to happen, and he would do it. So every time things change, every time you change something in a mix, the tiniest detail in here will change a big detail over here, and I don't understand it, but luckily Chris does. So yeah, I was there for a lot of it, but the magic is done by Chris, definitely.
Nice. I always equate mixing to like AutoCAD for an architect. You really need to be able to think globally and hear exactly like you said. You have to hear the whole thing. And maybe that's a thing I wonder about self-editing. I always think about this veteran bands, older bands, you've been there and done that for a while, made 3, 4, 5, 7 albums. And at a certain point, like how many riffs and how many song ideas do you throw away? Some bands never do it, you can tell. Like, oh,
Yeah,
they should not have done that, or they should have maybe worked more on that, or whatever. And that's just an outside opinion. But
yeah,
as a critic, we listen and judge. So, I wonder sometimes as artists get older about the self editing, and that's also producing and mixing and mastering. The self editing process is already kind of done for you, but when you're doing it from the seed of riffs all the way through to the end, you are the one living with the final result.
yeah. And I'm an advocate for deleting things. Honestly, I each song on this album, I would say, has about 18 versions of the song before it's finished. And I always listen through, and as soon as something will catch my ear, and I'll be trying to figure out what is wrong with this song, what is happening. And it will take me like maybe 50 listens, and I'll think, right, I've got it. And then I will just have to get rid of what was wrong, put in something that's right. And it's a long process, and I never want to not make it a long process, because I think it will make the music suffer if I don't.
Right on. Do you guys have a lot of fun in the studio, or they kind of hate you after a while with 18 takes of the song?
Well, we usually have fun, but not this time, because it was middle of a lockdown. Not many people were allowed in the studio. We only had 2 weeks to do it, and it was just work, like non-stop work. We bashed the drums out, and then it was a case of getting everything down as quick as possible. My vocals just took up a little more time than they should have.
Well, that's okay. And again, we understand the circumstances. Historically, do you do a lot of pre-production and demoing yourself before you go into the studio?
Yeah, pretty much. The first album we didn't, because I think like most people's first albums, everything was written in the rehearsal room. We just knew all the songs in our heads, and that was just how it was. The more time's gone by, it's just I haven't dictated it this way, but it eventually fell to me to stir the pot, you know. So there would be a riff, and I would build on it, send it to the band, they'd give their feedback, and then I'd work on it more. It's just a back and forth of me stirring the pot, basically. So that's our comfort zone. That's how it works, and yeah, we're comfortable with that.
Right on. And then let's just not forget to talk about this crushing artwork. If you're going to have an album that's called Hell Unleashed and a song that's Hell Unleashed that closes the album, you have to have proper artwork. And you guys came, and you came correct. I love this art, man.
Yeah, I'm ultimately honored to work with Michael Whelan, because when we first worked with him, I was blown away because the label we were with, Earache, I kind of joked with them that I want Michael Whelan, not thinking that it would ever happen because, you know, he's Michael Whelan. So they emailed him and he said, yeah, sounds cool. And we were like, oh, holy shit, okay. And I've been in touch with him ever since. He came to a few gigs in America. And this time round, I sent him some of the new music, and he's a big fan of metal. And obviously he's done Sepultura, Obituary and everything. And he loved it. And I said, look, I know you're busy, so you can't do anything new. Is there anything in your drawers that you haven't used or no one's seen? So he sent me like 8 pieces. None of them really worked, except, well, even the one you see on the cover, it didn't work at first. It was like a full body shot of the thing. And we all kind of said, it's cool, it's not that cool. So we zoomed in on the figure and put the Evile logo above it, and we all just said, yeah, that's the one. So I emailed him back saying, can we please use this one? And he said, yeah.
Nice. This is my weirdly second interview, or not that weirdly, second interview in a few days where we talked about Michael and his impact on the scene. And, you know, obviously there are the greats of album artwork, and he's one of them, especially for thrash and heavy metal. He's the king.
Yeah. I mean, Arise by Sepultura is one of my favorite artworks of all time. Yep. Just period, you know.
I think it helped define the band in a lot of people's minds. Obviously they were a band before that album, but that is kind of the first, like, wow, not just, you know, everything for them. And that artwork is just so ingrained in the culture. It has been copied a lot. You know, it's like one of those things. Did I get a record that looks like that? And if you can't get Michael, some prog guys I was interviewing not too long ago were like, yeah, we wanted Roger Dean, and he's still like the Yes guy, and he's still doing stuff. He's still drawing and painting apparently at like 80 something, and you can get him, but there's a waiting list. So it's like, so we found somebody that can do what he does, which is like, okay, I'm not going to hate on that. It came out pretty good.
No, a budget Roger Dean is a good one.
I don't think there's a budget Michael Whelan though, but yes, a budget Roger Dean will do you. You know, as we wind this down, I know you've been, you know, doing a bunch of these, and I want to give you back your night. You know, it's just so good to have you back. Obviously, probably a lot of mixed emotions for you personally, and again, the next time you're on a stage, you'll be the actual frontman of the band, and in this post-pandemic lockdown time. So when do you think you will personally feel comfortable to do a small club gig or a big festival?
Well, we have a few shows booked for this year. I know there's one in a few months, actually. We're starting rehearsals soon. But honestly, I don't know. Until I start doing it and playing live, I don't know when I'll be comfortable, because I may not be comfortable when I do it, but I just have to do it. And just hopefully people understand, you know.
Well, I think the fans are in your corner, and one of the reasons they're in your corner, I think you are very much who you are. I think getting to see you on these live streams, I think made people appreciate you more. You are very much who you are right now, as you are when you're shredding and having fun and drinking a pint and, you know, soloing and doing covers. And I think people have gotten to see a side of you maybe they didn't know before, and that's probably true of a lot of artists who have really let the curtain down. So I wanted to ask you, I know what I've gotten out of enjoying your stuff. What have you gotten out of this experience of now really connecting with fans in a new way?
I think the main thing I got is it's made me open up a bit more, because I was, you know, a lot of my life I was quite, what's the word? My brain is failing me right now, but I was kind of shut off. I was, closed. I wasn't very, very open. So, doing the streaming and everything, it's allowed me to open up a lot more. And, I even gained even more confidence just from doing the streams, just like as if it's kind of like a rehearsal for being the front man in a way. Because, it's my show in a way on my streams. And yeah, it's just been a really good thing to get me back out there and prepare me for being in Evile as the front man, I guess.
Right on. Well, I have to say thank you very much, man. It's been wonderful seeing you do your thing on this limited screen basis. I wish it was a show
Yeah,
tomorrow. I wish you could play a record release show on Friday or Saturday. That would be amazing, but we'll get it back
yeah.
soon. Congratulations on Hell Unleashed coming out April 30th on Napalm Records. It has been wonderful to catch up with you, and I hope next time it's in person.
Thank you very much, Keith. Thanks for having me.